Hello Kate, this is vlog number 14. What is up? I have to be even numbers now, and I really don't think I'm an even numbered kind of person. Today I'm wearing my favorite t-shirt. Not really sure why it's my favorite t-shirt, it's just plain red, but I really like it for some reason. I'm gonna do this relatively quickly so that I can watch an episode of Firefly before I have to go to work. So speaking of Firefly, yes, I've started watching it and it is awesome. I absolutely adore it. Like, I've only watched like 4 episodes, I think, although really that's like a quarter of the whole show. But the thing is, when Firefly ends, you're like, oh, it's not really over, because they still have Serenity, the movie, and then there's the comic books, and it's just like, woo, so much to enjoy. I love Joss Whedon. I thought of a good punishment for you to do. There were a few suggestions, not a lot, a few. Alright, suggested punishments. Well, there was a couple people who were like, oh, don't punish Kate, blah blah blah, but I don't care about them. And then you were like, oh, forgive me, I was held against by evil forces, but bleh, I don't really care. Some people said you look too nice to be punished. I don't know, you don't really look that nice to me. And they said, how about eating something you dislike? And then someone suggested worms. So, would you like to eat worms? I think we could arrange that. I know several sidewalks that in good resting place for worms. You can just pick them up, fry them maybe. Whatever you want. Worms. Worm eating would be good. Someone suggested you make like extra weekend vlogs, but I don't really need to see that much of you. I don't think people were really encapsulating the spirit of what I wanted to do here. It's not so much about hurting Kate as causing enjoyment for myself. So what I want you to do, Kate, is to reenact a scene from an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You have to go all out on this. You can't just like do a monologue or something. That doesn't count. You need to have multiple characters. You need to find other people to play these characters. This is not a solo act. You are somehow going to have to convince other people that you know to be in this with you. And it better be good quality acting, because if it's not up to snuff, I'm gonna make you do it again. Or you can eat worms. It's up to you. Speaking of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I found this wonderful story you made for me one day. It's called Sarah the Vampire Slayer. It's about me being a vampire slayer. Actually, it's entirely based off the episode Go Fish, which is at the end of season 2. But yeah, I'm gonna read it to you even though you wrote it. Computer class. And that was when Willow was filling in and being the teacher, and Willow says, very good class, all of your pie charts look excellent. And then you've got Gage, who's played by the dashing Wentworth Miller, like kind of before he was famous, and he's like, but Gage, your pie chart looks like solitaire with naked women on the cards. 'Cause that's what happened. And then Gage is like, your point? And Willow's like, no point. Then the bell rings. That Gage never does any work. Am I too attractive though? And we're like, oh yes, am I too attractive, with stars in our eyes? Because clearly that's what happens when we see Wentworth Miller. Over here, later. And it's like, ha ha ha, bursting vamp, and you actually wrote just staked vamp, only you spelt staked wrong. But, you know, a good try. And then there's Xander, who's like, whoa, Sarah, you're awesome! Then below, we've got Giles, who says, very good, Sarah, now we must discover the fishiness surrounding the swim team. So it's the next day. At the beach, swim team training. I'm thinking steroids. Oh, yeah, Shane West had a cameo in that one too. It's pretty awesome. And it is steroids that Sarah sure is smart one. Oh, that Sarah sure is the smart one. Meanwhile, sexy Gage's like, I swim now. I still swim, but he turned into a fish man. It was quite upsetting. But Kate, however, was like, it's still Wentworth Miller. Still love him. And so, she's like, Gage, you're still attractive, I swear. That angelfish is way into you. Then he's like, thanks, Sarah, but, like, I'm a fish. And then Gage returns to the sea of me and Angel being in love. And then you get some scenes added just for, like, the sake of Oz being in there. And Oz says, hey, I'm Oz, I'm a werewolf. Yeah, I have a band. Dingoes ate my baby. You know, like Meryl Streep is shot in the dark. Dingo stole my baby. See, I don't get why that's really the same, Kate, because, like, if a dingo ate the baby or a dingo stole the baby, I don't get it. Dude, my band's got a sick name. I don't think Oz would really say that. He'd more, like, say something, like, deep and act all, like, stoic. Spike. And he says, I'm Spike, vampire extraordinaire. Plus I have an accent, which increases my coolness by about 38%. I'm not really saying this in an accent. I think I should be. So I'm sort of working with the Slayer now, only to get my Drew back from that pesky evil angel. Yeah, that's when they had that alliance thing, when Spike was still evil. There's, like, a heart. Spike and Drew. Vampires infiltrating Sunnydale High. Never fear, sir, the vampire slayer is here. And then that part was censored for violence, because them pesky vamps stories so violent. And so the Slayer saves another day, slaying vampires and complimenting fishmen. The end. You're such a good storyteller. And by that I mean, like, you're good at taking an episode of a TV show and making it into a strange comic book featuring me. That punishment doesn't have to be done, like, immediately. I'll give you some time to sort it out. We had the Terry Fox assembly today, as you may have noticed. And they gave out free temporary tattoos of Terry Fox's face. Terry Fox's face is on my arm. So my sore throat kind of came back, so I'm not feeling 100%, but whatever. Also, ow, that yawn hurt. P.S. Thanks for the super secret clip. I laughed hysterically again.